Hi, hello, it's me, I'm back. Untold levels of prep today. It's actually, the sun is still out when I'm filming this, which is crazy. We're doing Legundo. I actually am, yesterday I kind of was just like, hey, this is the perfect time to make the non-vampires video, just so that I have it, because I knew that I was not going to be able to follow the absolute heat of the peak of the pyro video. So now that I've got my 10 out of 10 video out of the way, we can get back to the vampire stuff. We're doing Legundo, specifically the people map, because we have our Legundo and Scott video coming soonish. Yeah, okay, so let me just pause a second so that I can screenshot this part for the thumbnail. Okay, should be good. Okay, so Legundo is actually, it's more interesting, at least in my opinion, to see how Legundo feels about other people rather than how other people feel about Legundo. So I would imagine there's going to be a drop off for the second half of the video, which is understandable. Yeah, okay. Scott, Scott. I've learned my lesson from last time. Try not to squish townspeople in the vampire corner. Sorry, Martin. Okay. And also, I probably need to put more space in between people so that it's not as squished. But, yeah. I also have notes. I went and made a table for different stuff, where I have a table for both how Legundo feels about the person and how the person feels about Legundo. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, but I figured, the video after was going to suck. So we regularly scheduled got dead back. But yeah, I was like, I'm not going to be able to follow that, and also I don't want to feel bad about it, and also I needed a break, and so it lined up perfectly. So we chillin'. I need more space. But yeah, I do have more extensive notes. And by extensive notes, I mean I wrote down the color for everyone ahead of time, so I'm not really deciding in the moment. I'm more so explaining my rationale behind why I'm choosing one way or the other. Okay, so I bet some of you were bothered by that. Okay, let's do this thing. Okay, so Legundo hates Scott. Full up, straight up, full stop, does not like Scott, hates him so bad. Specifically, okay, he doesn't he masks it pretty well, kind of well in, the episodes, but on stream, which I know technically isn't canon, Legundo basically said, yeah, so Doc hates Scott because he's a nobleman, and also just kind of crappy about it because Scott reminds him a lot of all the people that got all of his comrades killed, sent so many people over the wall for no ground at all, so yeah. Does not like Scott. I don't know if it's fully hate. He kind of hate. It's pretty blue. It's pretty blue. Does not like Scott. In case this is your first video with the color map, blue, I don't like you, are actively bad. Greens, the greens are in the net level of maybe a little bit dislike, maybe a little bit neutral-y-ish. And then the reds are good, I like you, we friends. Okay. Oh, and also on stream and also very well portrayed in show or in the episodes. Legundo, well, to quote him, I can fix him on Owen. We're just gonna be special and break the rules and let Owen be orange because it's sort of like a green-red mix thing going on, but it's like a hot mess. So we're just gonna let it be orange because orange juice be orange. So we're gonna we're gonna let it be orange and break our rules because of the hot mess that it is. If you want to know more about it, watched several videos. Oh my gosh, they're everywhere, and all the fics and all the posts. People are not okay about this. Moving on. Pyro. Okay. Oh, I feel like it's sort of, he's basically said that he can't trust Pyro to help. He's like, I want to help you, but I can't trust you. So I would say that it's a little bit of a strained relationship. Not like the best, but not terrible. I was originally gonna put light green, and then I was like, not really sure. Okay, I'm gonna caveat this next one. Shelby and Doc's relationship is very murky. They have not spoken in a while, and so it's difficult to be able to pick up exactly what's going on there. So I'm gonna say green tentatively. I don't know, because they haven't really talked to each other. Shelby kind of let Pyro do the talking to Town. So, and she also doesn't want to be cured at this point, it seems like. So there's a certain amount of like, but they don't like not like each other. So it's like very, very neutral in my mind. I would say that between Doc and Apo, there is like green, but I would also say like they're fairly close. Like, at least for Legundo, because Apo chose to Cleo kind of forced Apo to explain vampire to Doc, but it seems like there's a certain amount of trust there between Apo and Legs. Cleo and Legs have a good thing going on. Honestly, if Legs is like team commander, team captain of Town, I feel like Cleo's kind of lieutenant. Lieutenant 2, not Lieutenant 1. But they're pretty good. Honestly, I would say they're like really good. Legundo seems to like trust Cleo quite a bit, and very solid in their relationship. And then we have Avid. I would say that their relationship is red. I would say that it's pretty solid. I'd say they're friends. I think they're good. But I'm caveating that it's strained. It will be strained on both sides because they're both lying to each other about important things. So this is subject to change depending on how both of them deal with eventually finding out that the other one is lying to them about something that's, important and relevant. Drift seems to be very good with Legs. I don't think they're like super close, but Drift felt comfortable and decided to confide in Legs about, getting turned into a vampire. And so I feel like Legs is like, Drift is solid and, is trusting of her to like handle it, I guess. And is, one of the sane members of Town, I guess. Hurley Pop. I would say they don't have like a huge relationship, but it's not like necessarily bad. I think he's frustrated with Pearl on occasion, but I wouldn't say that it's like bad. And then Legundo and Abolish. This is Lieutenant number 1 for Commander Legundo. Abolish and Legundo, they have a very deep amount of trust, and the relationship there is very solid. I've realized that this is kind of far away for how small I've made it. I'm gonna put you a little closer. Okay, but yeah, Abolish and Legs, their relationship is very interesting. I think Legs is like pretty honest with Abolish most of the time, and so I honestly can see Legs maybe telling Abolish that he's lying about being a vampire. I don't know if he would do it because it would kind of compromise the point, but I could see Abolish just noticing and figuring it out, or Legundo realizing he won't be able to hide it from Abolish because he's too perceptive and just deciding to pull him aside and let him know. But we'll see. Also, Abolish doesn't seem to care that much, so I feel like he would just rather be told, and so we'll see if Legs picks up on that. Because Abolish knows how to keep his mouth shut, and also is pretty keen on, like, helping out Legs whenever he asks for stuff. Ren. Legundo, I would say it's a cautious light green for Legs on Ren. I think he appreciated that Ren told him about the whole vampire thing that happened to him, you know, being tempted. Yeah, I think it's, you know, it's doing okay. And then I would say dark green for Martin. Martin is still one of the more volatile to a certain extent members of town. Depends on how many people he's with. Again, I think Legundo is concerned with what Martin might do. Obviously, Martin is very solid with Cleo, but that is not everyone. That's not all the vampires. That's just Cleo. So I feel like there's a little bit of strain there. And then Sausage. I would also give a dark green from Legundo for Sausage. I think he's frustrated at Sausage for being like, turn me, and you can bite my neck, I don't mind, and if you want to drink my blood, I'm okay with it. I think that kind of pissed Legs off a little bit. Like, he didn't show it like too much, but to a certain extent, I feel like he was like, you know, the energy, the deep sigh, the deep breath, the deep sigh. That was the energy. So I wouldn't say it's necessarily positive. Okay. And then the slightly less interesting, but still fun. How does Legs feel about everyone else? Yeah, Legs has a very good general, like, social standing in the town. He even comments on it himself. He's well liked and trusted by pretty much everybody. Yeah, and even like people he doesn't talk to that much still have a pretty decent opinion of him. So, okay. Let's do this thing. Scott. I would say dark green for Scott about Legundo. They're basically, from what Scott picked up, at least in my mind, from his conversation with Legundo outside town, is that he's not really interested in being turned. And so Scott, you know, backs off and is like, okay. Yeah, and so he's not like, amazing with Scott, but Scott also is not like, you know, so Scott does just it's sort of just like vaguely negative. It's not like there's nothing personal about it. It's just like, you know. Owen, about Legundo. We're just gonna we're gonna give them the orange again. We don't know until they talk, because they didn't talk this episode, which is a crime. How dare? How could you deprive us of an Owen and Legundo conversation? How dare you? But honestly, at this point, I'm like, you know what? I'll take my pros and cons. The fact that Legs might be able to pull Owen out of his, you know, hot trash of a mess next episode, it could happen. Also, if Owen hears about Legs pretending to be a vampire, also should be juicy. And it's just, there's a reason it gets its own color. Yeah. There's some stuff going on there. Pyro, I think, generally has a good opinion of Legs. It's not, like, crazy, but, you know, he trusts him enough to be like, hey, you know, I'd like to, maybe be cured. I don't think that he will. As mentioned via Pyro video. You should really watch it. I'm really proud of it. It's really good. Yeah. Shelby, again, this is another murky one because they haven't talked much. Shelby and I'll give it a tentative light green, but like I said, Shelby and Doc have not talked. And it doesn't seem like Shelby wants to be cured at this point. So I feel like she's not really bothered by Legs, but the fact that she doesn't want the cure means she's just not going to confirm that to Legs so that she doesn't have like a bad thing going on with him. Yeah, because that might make him be like, well, why don't you want to? And she's just like, if I don't tell him, then he can't ask and he doesn't think about it and he has a generally positive opinion of me. So, yeah, but I don't think Shelby's thinking about it that hard. It's just like, Doc's chill, moves on with life. Or maybe, you know, writing furiously. I don't know how much Shelby knows, but, you know, furiously writing Owen Legundo fanfic. We'll see. I don't know how much Shelby knows. Again, that could be fun though. Shelby the shipper. And then, let's see, Apo, is, I think, there's not, like, it's not super trust, but, like, it's there. She did, you know, relent and confirm that she was a vampire, and seems to have an okay relationship with Doc, and seemed happy that he was one of the people who came down first when she was in the pit. And it was like, okay, you know, at least someone I can reason with. I would say Cleo and Legs got a good thing going on. I don't think Cleo is as trusting of Legs as he is of her. Yeah. Because Cleo kind of gives off the energy that she could split to Team Vampire, like, at any point. Like, okay, that's not true. She's very firmly teamed down, but she also kind of doesn't care about the cure so much. Hi, we're back. Anyways, so, Avid, red, an alarm went off my phone. Avid is red, but strained, as mentioned before, because of the fact that he's lying to Doc, and also didn't trust Doc to try and fix whatever he had going on with his bite mark, probably a werewolf thing. So that's strained for sure, but it'll depend on how it shakes out when they talk to each other. So that'll be interesting. Drift seems to trust Legs. I mean, she told him pretty much immediately after being turned, so there's a certain amount of trust and, like, we chill. Yeah. And then Parley Pop. Pearl doesn't seem to have like a huge thing on legs either way. It's nothing crazy. There's not much to read into there. It's just sort of like not really negative. Abolish is really solid with legs. They trust each other. They're really close. They pretty much tell each other whatever. Like Abolish, whenever he like figures something out or has a deduction or an observation, the first person he tells is Legs. So they have a very solid, very good relationship. I think that I want to say Red, but I'm hesitant. I don't think. Well, actually, no. This is on Ren's side. Ren's chill with Legs. He seems to trust Legundo because he chose to tell Cleo and Legs about getting tempted by the vampires. So yeah, Martin doesn't really trust Doc, I guess, but doesn't really have a super negative opinion, at least from what I can see. But we'll see if that changes with him being like, I'm a vampire, and we'll see how well, because like a lot of the people in town that are, and I say a lot, and I mean 2 of them, the non-town vampires and town folk that are left, Martin and Abolish are really good at sussing people out. So I don't know if they'll still be trying to suss people out, but we'll see if either of them clock Avid and Legundo for lying about respective things. Avid might throw Martin off the trail of Legs lying, but the vice versa could also happen, I guess. No, I feel like I don't think. We'll see. We'll see how much social rolling will affect Legundo, because he has a really good perception, so he can kind of get away with a certain amount of things. We'll see how much that helps him in pretending. Sausage seems to have like a vaguely chill opinion of Doc. It's not like crazy. It's just sort of not actively bothered by you. You're fine with me. Yeah, but that's Legs. Gonna do a Scott one next. But yeah, Legundo's in relationships with how he feels about other people is more interesting than how they feel about him, because there's a lot more depth, because pretty much everyone has a decent opinion of Legs. Yeah, so that's Legundo. Gonna have to edit this, that's annoying, because alarm went off. Sucks. Yeah. Anyways, 8 days? I want to say 8. 8, 9, not a week yet, don't care. I do care, it's just painful.